Hi guys, it's Emily Scarratt and this is The Final Whistle.
Hello and welcome back to Rugby Connection presents The Final Whistle. Now, this week's guest, arguably the greatest of all time. Let me run through her accomplishments. 8-time Six Nations champion, 2020 Six Nations Player of the Tournament, World Champion in 2014, 2019 World Player of the Year, Commonwealth bronze medalist, Olympian. She's completed rugby. It's none other than Emily Scarratt. Emily, thank you so much for coming on. How are we getting on?
Yeah, really well, thank you. How are you?
I'm good. We're very excited for this because you're that popular. We've got fan questions back for this interview.
Oh, so, that's exciting.
Yeah, so we'll start off nice and easy. What actually got you into rugby in the first place?
Excuse me. So I first started playing when I was 5. So I've got an older brother who my dad was taking along for kind of a few of his first sessions. I went along with him. I was just stood watching, and one of the coaches was like, "Oh, does she want to come and have a little run around?" I obviously said yes, and then I just absolutely loved it. Running, you know what it's like at that age, running in the wrong direction, offside, all of the above. But yeah, I just loved it and wanted to go back ever since.
Yeah, good. I did read something that you were almost close to having a totally different career path in sport. You almost went to the States for basketball, didn't you?
Yeah, so I played a lot of basketball growing up, and my club team actually toured, excuse me, the East Coast of America one summer, which was like an unbelievable experience, as you can imagine. And then, yeah, I got messaged after that because we played in some tournaments and stuff, just saying, look, you know, we could offer this, that, and the other. Would you be interested? And I suppose at the time it wasn't something that I really thought about moving over to the America. That was quite a big step I think I was only 16 and 17 at the time. So wow. Yeah, I bottled it basically and stuck with rugby.
You made the right decision, because if I've got any experience from playing basketball, I constantly stave my fingers, so it's not worth it. It's the wrong shape ball.
Yeah, exactly. Although you get a bit of that in rugby as well, to be fair. I've just definitely dislocated a few.
I've never done that to my fingers. I don't know how. Anything like football, basketball, any round shape, my fingers get it tight, but rugby doesn't. It's very strange. I don't know how it works. Obviously, you know that you play outside centre and you've played with some amazing players. Who is your dream centre partner? So you can pick one for present and one from the past.
Oh, in the female game?
Any game you want.
Ooh, what a good question that is. I always loved watching, like, obviously Brian O'Driscoll, Will Greenwood growing up, but they always wore 13 as well, so whether we'd be able to partner one another, I'm not sure. Obviously
Manu, 12.
yeah, true. Obviously I played a lot of my career with people like Rachel Burford, Kim Oliver, Alice Richardson, so those guys were amazing as well. I guess from another country, someone like Kelly Brazier, I think would be very cool. She plays a bit of 12, doesn't she? She's a crazy talented footballer. I always find it quite interesting maybe playing with people from other nations or whatever, because there's probably not as much crossover in our game as there is in the men's. People tend to play club rugby in the country that they're in more often than not. So I think it would be quite interesting to play with some people like that.
Yeah, I mean, we did have a guest on a few weeks ago and they said they would love to play with you. It does mean you have to move over to Exeter though, but I'm up for that. I'm an Exeter Chiefs fan, so I'd like to see.
Who was that? Can I ask?
It was Kate Zachary. Kate Zachary would love to have you down at Sandy Park. So
let's make it
happen.
She's going very well, isn't she? I mean, although she's a back row, I probably could have picked her as well, because she's been playing in the centre, isn't she, this year?
Yeah, that's how I tricked her on that, because she plays back row predominantly, but she's played in the centre. I was like, I'll let you pick a centre partner as well, and she picked you. So there we go. It's nice little connection. It's always nice connections, but always somehow find a connection here. Pardon the pun. Helena Rowland or Helen Nelson?
Oh, God, you can't ask me that.
Yeah, I can.
Gosh, is this to play alongside or to go out for a beer with?
Both. I feel like there's a different answer for both, so we'll go for both.
I'll tell you what, I've absolutely done myself over, actually, haven't I, with that?
Yeah, you've set yourself up for that one.
Yeah, I really, really have. Oh my goodness, I've absolutely no idea. I actually can't make that decision. That's so brutal. Obviously, I played. We'll put Helena at fullback, so I'll play with Helen Nelson. How about that?
That's fair. That's fair. I was going to say you could pick both because Helena's very versatile. So
Yeah,
we'll let that one slide. We'll go for our first fan question. Well, we'll say fan. She's now officially part of Rugby Connection. It's from Anya. She's asked, have you got any pre-match superstitions or just any pre-match routine in general?
Not hugely. You do end up sort of doing similar things at similar times, but that's more just because of I suppose the routine of a match day rather than what I would describe as superstitions. But yeah, so not massively. I know some people do. Some people like to pack their bag the night before, or they pack it the morning of, or they do certain things with their shirt, or one boot on before the other and all that sort of stuff. But I'm not. I think I've tried to steer away from them because at that one moment where I don't know, you're not able to do that thing, I don't ever want that to sort of throw you off. So I've tried to steer away from them as much as possible. But I will definitely do certain things. I'm probably just not as aware of them as I should be.
That's fair. Are you like a chatty player in the change room before a warm up, or are you very not self-centered? Do you like keep yourself to yourself, put your headphones on, and just stay in the zone, or do you just walk around and chat to everyone? And
I'm probably sorry, one of the quieter players. Some of the girls, obviously, they're all about the social and they feed off one another's energy to get going. Obviously music is a huge part of it. Generally, by the time we're in the changing room, we'll have like a communal music on. So unless you really, really don't like that, then you'll have your headphones on. But normally it's all right. But yeah, I'm probably someone who's just kind of sat quietly chilling more so than getting amongst it, really.
yeah, that's fair. You managed to achieve your 100th cap almost like at your home ground, essentially. How did that feel? And how did that feel? I'm trying to lose my words on it.
Yeah, it was unbelievable. Like, honestly, it was. I never in a million years imagined reaching that milestone, let alone kind of the day it was, where it was, all of those things. Just everything seemed to align, and I've no idea why, but it was it was amazing. Obviously, it meant growing up in Leicestershire and still having loads of my family here, it meant that a lot of those guys were able to be there to kind of share that day, which was awesome. But yeah, I still can't put it into words. You try and reflect on it, it's kind of feels like it didn't happen. But yeah, it was very, very cool. Very, very cool.
And you done it in front of a record crowd as well, which is fantastic. Especially for women.
Exactly.
I don't get where people are like, who cares? I care. That's why we're talking about it. So that's how I operate. If I don't like it, I won't talk about it.
Yeah, exactly. Amen.
You don't have to go into full detail for this. I'm just curious based on just previous guests we've had. And I hope the answer is yes. Is rugby your full-time job?
Yes.
Yes. Thank you. I'm so glad to hear that. The amount of guests we've had on and reading their the player profile that they get, I'm like, oh, big marquee signing, but that's their job. And then you ask them, no, I have a full-time job on top of that, and it angers me. Just pay them, just do it.
Yeah, we're very, very lucky that we're employed by the RFU. So there's how many there are of us now, maybe 30-ish, just short of 30 that are employed by the RFU. So yeah, very, very lucky that I get to call it my full-time job.
Good. I feel like it would have angered me if Emily Scarratt said no, she has to work at a regular job as well. But no, we're good. Just pay everyone though. Let's go.
Yeah.
We'll go for another fan question. Obviously, you have been captain of England. Izzy.Turner1 has asked how to be a good captain, especially if you're new into the role.
Yeah, it's really, I think you go through a journey with it. I've obviously been captained by various people along over the years. And the biggest thing you have to be is just yourself. Like, you'll try, and to start with, I think I tried to be somebody else, or somebody that I thought people wanted me to be, rather than actually you're in that role because of you and whatever that is, and that will be different for everybody. And also just appreciate that everybody will want something different from a captain, but as long as you're being yourself, then no one can ever kind of question you for it. Like, some people like the screaming, shouting, effing and jeffing captain because they want to get really up for something. Some people will prefer the like a follow me captain. So I think you can't get it 100% right for everybody, but at least if you're being yourself and authentic, then people will definitely buy into that.
Yeah, that's fair. So where do you lie then? Are you an F and Jeff and captain, or are you a follow me captain?
I'm not gonna lie, the odd F and Jeff does slip out sometimes, which isn't normally part of me, but it just happens on match days for whatever reason. But I'm definitely not a screamer and a shouter. I'm more of a let's go to kind of follow me vibe. More actions than words, hopefully.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. What is your aims for the upcoming season? Because the season's pretty much finished now in this time, and then you've got the World Cup.
Yeah.
So I imagine that'll be top priority.
Yeah, it's hard to look past the World Cup at the moment, obviously. So we're going on a bit of a break now. Excuse me. And then we'll basically come back in pre-season, and then it'll all be about the World Cup. So we'll be training together as a squad, then heading out to the World Cup, hopefully. And then basically once that's over, then you'll come back to domestic and club rugby. But as I'm sure you can appreciate, it's quite hard to look at that yet because there's quite a big milestone in front of that.
I think this whole pandemic, moving the World Cup to this year, is actually going to be a blessing in disguise, because women's rugby is like the talk of the town right now. Like, everyone's talking about it, and well, I say everyone that cares about rugby is talking about it. You get the odd, oh, who cares, blah blah blah. Go away, you're getting left behind. You don't matter. But no, I can't wait. I can't wait for the World Cup, and I'm just going to test you on this because you've won. You have completed rugby essentially. You can only keep one: your World Cup or your Six Nations. Now, if you pick the World Cup, you lose all your Six Nations titles. You've never won a Six Nations if you keep the World Cup.
Flippin' heck.
If you keep the Six Nations, you've never been world champion.
That's brutal, because that's over quite a few years, that is. But probably the World Cup, isn't it? I think that's the absolute pinnacle.
Yeah.
Of the world. Six Nations obviously is amazing, but obviously there's probably a few less teams involved in that. So yeah, probably the World Cup. But that's a savage question.
I know. I always like to catch them off on one. Sometimes it's this trophy or that trophy, this player or that player. If you played for multiple teams, it's this city or that city. Yeah, I just like to catch people off guard and get their raw emotion. It's always fun. Another fun question. It's from Willie_Rolla. The most famous contact, non-rugby related, in your phone.
Oh gosh, I don't know if I've got any, to be honest with you. No, definitely all rugby related. Who would not be rugby related? I don't know if I'm not that big time. I'd love to say I'm that big time and pull out and some absolute A-lister, but I really don't have one.
Who's the biggest rugby? Who's the biggest rugby then?
Oh, now this is who do you give the biggest ego boost to, isn't it?
Me, no.
I don't know. Probably like someone from the older days, like Rory Underwood or someone like that.
Cool. Nice.
Yeah.
I did notice that you were at the London Sevens this weekend, and you've obviously been in the Sevens set up yourself. So how did you enjoy the whole drama of the weekend?
Of the Sevens?
Yeah,
it was awesome. Like, I love Sevens. It's such an amazing way to play our game, I think. And I'm always surprised when people say they've never played it or they don't enjoy it. I just can't get my head around that. But yeah, it was awesome to be there. Great spectacle. London put on a really good show, actually. It was fancy dress everywhere. I mean, some people had too much of a good time naturally, but that is sevens. But yeah, it was awesome. Australia obviously getting the win for the men, which was not a shock, but I think sevens is always, it's very rarely goes to form, but they've been going really, really well. So fair play to them. But yeah, I love, if I'm honest, I much prefer watching it now than I do playing the game, because I'm a little bit longer in the tooth and older in the body. But yeah, what a fantastic game.
Yeah, I could always watch sevens. I'll happily go and watch a sevens tournament, but Murray, you're playing. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. It's not happening. I don't have the engine for it, and I don't have the speed for it.
Yeah.
I've always said one missed tackle, and that's it. Try as soon as you miss a tackle. So, no, thank you. Are you? I was going to ask, are you going to aim for the Commonwealth Games this year? But you've just said you happily rather watch it these days instead of playing.
Yeah, so I took the decision back in 2018 to step away from sevens and focus on 15s, because at that point, obviously, the World Cup should have been in 2021. So it would have been like a year and a half, because it was the Christmas of 2018, a year and a half until that kind of was meant to be taking place. So yeah, I kind of took that decision to step away for my own personal reasons and just wanting to really apply myself to the 15s game to hopefully get the best out of that. But yeah, it's an exciting summer for sevens, Commonwealth Games and the Sevens World Cup. So it's a few bits going on, which should be awesome.
Yeah, it's definitely lots to talk about, especially for a podcast as well. So yeah, it just keeps us busy. There's so much to talk about in the rugby world every week, and it's hard to catch it all, really. Sometimes, like, there's times we record and it's just, I forgot to mention that, and yeah, it just completely slips your mind. I like the fact that you made the decision not to play sevens in the late of 2018 and then got World Player of the Year in 2019. It's almost like it was written in the stars.
Yeah, I don't know. I honestly don't know how I managed that, if I'm honest with you. Because last time one of the reasons for making that decision was because last time I did it, so we flip-flopped between sevens and 15s quite a lot throughout my career. And I personally, when we played, so we did the Rio Olympics in 2016 and then did the 15s World Cup in 2017. And that year of obviously trying to get back into 15s rugby, I found quite difficult. And I didn't feel like in 2017 I was, the 15s player that I wanted to be. So that was one of the reasons. So I wanted to give myself more time to transition back. And then, yeah, like you say, I won that award pretty much straight after I decided to transition back. So I'm not quite sure what happened there, but it was very cool.
Fair. I mean, it must have been a very easy transition at the end of it.
Well, didn't feel it.
No, probably not, but it's all worth it in the end. Do you have any advice for young girls wanting to play rugby or even want to stick at rugby?
Yeah, I think just like it's really hard to know exactly what to say because everybody's circumstance is slightly different. But I play the game because I really enjoy it, and that's fundamentally still why I do it. As soon as I kind of lose that love, then it's probably time for me to step aside and do something else. But so I think you have to have that. So just enjoy it, get stuck in, and just see what happens. Like, don't put too much pressure on yourself. If you're, I don't know, if you're playing for club and you want to play for county, or if you're playing for county and you want to play for kind of mid, the regional bit, or whatever step you're on, just don't put too much pressure on yourself. Just really enjoy the journey, especially as youngsters, because you've got so much going on. Things can change so quickly. Just have fun, basically.
Yeah, could not agree more. Like you said, if you're not having fun, don't do it. Simple as that. Now, I guarantee if this was to happen tomorrow, you'd be the first name on this. But what do you think of the British and Irish Lions women's tour potentially? We'll have to say it now because it's not confirmed, even though it should be confirmed. But yeah, Emily Scarratt, British and Irish Lion.
I mean, it would be very cool, wouldn't it? Obviously, I've grown up and played rugby for a long time watching it. It is the pinnacle of of rugby in this kind of area of the world, isn't it? It's awesome, but I think it's obviously a shame. There's been loads of chat about it, and I think it will happen at some point. It's just how it happens, and I think that's really important because the women's game isn't like the men's game, so it probably can't just follow the exact same blueprint. Because going to and playing Australia and South Africa, those nations aren't as well developed in their women's game as they are in their men's game, so it probably wouldn't be appropriate. However, New Zealand obviously are, and then how you make up the squad. Obviously, again, England at the moment are, dominating in terms of Six Nations and things like that. But that's not to say, the other home nations haven't got some phenomenal players that could definitely make up that squad. But you wouldn't want it to be one of the joys of that. The British and Irish Lions is the amalgamation of lots of different teams, players, etc., from all over. So you wouldn't want it to be, heavily dominated by one country. But at the same time, you wouldn't want to not go just because they were putting some other nations in it if you were the better player. So look, you go round and round with it. I don't know how they'll do it. I hope they do figure it out somehow, because I think it could be awesome.
Oh, it definitely should. And I think this has been another blessing. Don't do it at the same time as the guys. Nothing to do with the guys. It's not their story. And I think the Six Nations having different times now is brilliant because you cool down from the Guinness Six Nations, you have a few weeks, and you go straight into the TikTok Six Nations, and it just gets your spirits all riled up again. Like I was never at a women's game until this year, and I've been to two. And we've seen you in action at the Scotland England game. And yeah, it was like, even though the score, like, you absolutely dominate, but like I said to people, scoreboard doesn't tell you the full story.
No.
But
I agree with you about the separate windows. I think it's been awesome having that separate window. I think COVID forced it a couple of years ago, and then I think it's been a really good idea to keep that the same. Like you say, it just gives us the opportunity to stand on our own 2 feet, for people to come and, we don't have to compete with anything else, which I think, record crowds all over the place, not just even in England, all over the place. So I think that quite clearly tells its own story.
Exactly. And that, again, that's just people's, but who cares? A lot of people, 15,000 to be exact, just for one game.
Yeah.
So people care, and it is going to take over. It's constantly growing. I'm kind of like, one day I'll do a great try from a guy, next to a great try from a girl, so on and so forth, and keeps my content flowing anyway. And again, because we cover so much rugby, it's so hard to clamp down on so much rugby. It's easy. Again, it's easier with Six Nations being split, because you do focus on the men, Six Nations, then you go back to club, and you focus on the women, and then you've got that nice little integration because you've got the Premier 15s rounding up shortly. I think that's next week it rounds up.
Yeah, Friday the final is Saracens Exeter. So yeah, could be a good one.
Be back in.
Oh, I don't know. I've been asked this a lot. I think maybe Saracens. I think they've got too many players that know how to win in that team. But I think it will be a really good game. I think, the way Exeter have been playing and come on this year, and they're kind of repping the rest of the world, aren't they? Almost against kind of a very English Saracens side. So yeah, I think it could be spicy.
It's going to be exciting anyway. Now I'll get to watch it from the joys of my couch. Try to get tickets, but traveling's an absolute nightmare, and the fuel prices going up is just not helping anyone. So
yeah,
just sit and watch at home. Now, time to get to know Emily Scarratt. So this is just more personal questions, almost. Okay. So, summer or winter?
Summer.
Cats or dogs?
Excuse me, dogs, definitely dogs.
Your worst school subject?
Oh, RE.
Is that the religious thing, yeah?
Yeah, religious education.
Yeah. I don't know why mine was called different. It was like RMPS up in my school.
Oh.
Not
Yeah,
a
I don't
clue.
know.
I was rubbish at it as well. Favorite colour?
Yellow.
Yellow. Favorite dessert?
Oh, I can't even answer that question. I love desserts.
Top 5.
Don't even know where to start. Love a sticky toffee pudding. Love a cheesecake. Like a hot chocolate pudding and anything lemony. I'm a proper dessert girl. Yeah, sorry, can't narrow that one down for
No,
you.
you're fine. You're making me hungry though. That's the weirdest thing you've ever eaten.
Ooh, probably like mystery meat when you go away sometimes. So like you'll be away on tour in a foreign country and they provide you with something. There's no translation. It's quite clearly not beef or lamb or something. So we just call it mystery meat and see how you get on.
I'm going to try and avoid that as best I can.
Yeah, it's grim. It's not good. You just end up eating a lot of bread.
Yeah, fair enough. Something you have to do, but you hate doing.
I'm looking around the house for inspiration because it's probably some form of like cleaning or job or something. Cleaning the toilet. Actually, I don't mind cleaning the toilet. What do I not like doing? Oh, I don't know. The washing up. Don't like doing the washing up.
Fair enough. Gym work or cardio?
Probably cardio.
No. No, that's become a weird trend now in our last few guests. When we started doing it, people would be, "Oh, I hate running. I'd rather be in the gym." Now everyone's, "No, I love running." No.
Well, it depends on because I wouldn't just say I love running either, but I prefer running around in a game than I do just in a gym lifting weights.
Fair enough. Yeah, that's fair. I'll give you that one. Favorite post-match drink?
Is this to help me recover or just what I want to drink?
No, this is a social question.
Probably a nice cold cider.
What cider? Because I know some people are very picky with ciders.
Yeah, something. I had a really nice one actually at the weekend. It was like Devon Mist or something. It was on tap at the place I was at. It was very nice. It was still and cloudy. It was very nice.
Nice. So what's your go-to drink at a night out then? Or is it still cider?
No, probably more of like a gin and tonic girl by then.
Ah, fair. There you go. Starting to open up now. Favorite hobby away from rugby?
I quite enjoy cooking, like baking, especially given my love for desserts. But yeah, I quite enjoy cooking. I find that quite relaxing. and then other things like trying to get a bit into golf and things like that, just something a bit different.
Fair.
Not very good at it,
what's your go-to meal with dessert? If you're cooking?
Meal. Whew, I wouldn't know what my go-to meal would be. Try and cook different things if I'm honest with you. Dessert, just any form of cake. I like a little cake. Then put the kettle on, have a cup of tea with it. I'm a simple girl.
Now, how do you make a cup of tea? Because this always causes debates.
Oh, what do you mean? How do you make a cup of tea?
Tea
bag.
Yeah.
Yorkshire tea bag.
Okay.
Hot water.
Yeah.
Splash of milk.
So
for a bit.
So you don't have any sweeteners or that?
No.
No, right. No, because there's videos that I've seen. It's from across the pond, so it hurts my head even more. There was one that put cold water in a cup, put the cup in the microwave, then put the tea in, then the sugar, then the milk, stir it, leave the tea bag in it till you're about to serve it, and then take it out.
It's very bizarre.
And I could see you just fizzing at it.
I'm not sure about that. That's why I double checked whether you're asking me how you make a cup of tea. I thought there was only one way to make a cup of tea.
Yeah, I genuinely used to think this as well, but there's videos everywhere of people milk first, then the tea, then the hot water. I'm like, oh no, just no.
No, It's a no from me.
Yeah, it's a no for me as well. Favourite pizza topping?
Ooh, pepperoni.
Nice choice. I'll rate that. Does pineapple belong on pizza?
Not for me.
Yes, finally someone agrees. That's another trend as well that everyone says yes to.
No, it's not for me.
Any tattoos?
No, I don't actually.
Would you ever get a tattoo? Has that ever crossed your
Yeah,
mind?
I'm certainly not against them. I've not found one or a reason to have one. And then I think I'd be too indecisive about where to put it, what it would look like, all those sorts of things. So yeah, I definitely never say never. I'm sure at some point, because a lot, obviously having been to Rio, a lot of the girls then got the Olympic rings and stuff. But yeah, just wasn't sure.
You could do a whole sleeve of just accomplishments, like Six Nations trophies there, World Player of the Year down there, World Cup up the forearm. Yeah.
Could do. Doesn't sound much like me, but I appreciate the thought.
or like on the shoulder blade, so not everyone sees it, but you know it's there.
Yeah.
Biggest inspiration and why?
Well, probably just my family. I think just how hard they work, kind of how they approach things, their mentality towards things. Yeah, they're good eggs.
Fair enough. And final question. Tell me something no one knows.
I knew you were going to say that as you started the question. I don't know. You wouldn't believe how many times you get asked this question, and funnily enough, you run out of things that nobody else knows.
Fine, people steal my question.
No,
it's not you.
Yeah, I don't know. I honestly don't know. Again, I'm trying to look around the room for inspiration. Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm a terrible singer, but that's well known.
I don't know that, so I could count.
Okay, fine. I'll take that.
We'll add a different one in. What's your favourite song of all time?
Oh wow. That's a big question. I like a bit of Return of the Mac.
Oh, what tune? Very left field. There was not. If I had a guess, I was never going to come.
Didn't expect me to go there.
No, but I rate it, and it is a tune, so we'll go for that. And
okay, fine.
Yeah,
we'll go with that.
We'll end it on a high. Thank you so much for coming on. It's been an absolute blast getting to know you away from rugby and talk about all your accomplishments. And you are easily the biggest name on this show's history.
Oh wow, well I'll take that. Thank you very much. Thanks for having me. It was fun.
No, brilliant to have you. You're honestly welcome back anytime.
Thank you very much.
This has been the final whistle with Emily Scarratt. We'll see you next time.